What's up, guys? Welcome back to Skywalker Stories. My name is Ish Singh, and I'm here joined with.
Devon Shah, and as you can see, we have a special guest here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Kyle. I'm a filmmaker of sorts, mostly just a screenwriter so far. I know Devansh through theater work we've done together in the past, and at his invitation, here I am.
So we're gonna be talking about Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi here. So this film is very decisive. You know,
Yeah,
it divided the fan base in when it came out. So for me and Ish, we do not enjoy this, but we got Kyle here today because he enjoys this film or like really likes it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not without its flaws, but I would definitely say it's the best Star Wars film we've gotten since the original trilogy. Outside of in terms of the main 9 films, like I haven't seen the spin-off. I don't want to speak on the spin-offs.
Yeah.
But in terms of the 9 films we've gotten from, George Lucas and Disney, I would say outside of the original trilogy, this is the one that holds up the most.
Which is a big statement. It's very
that's a very big statement.
Yeah.
As opposed to the prequels.
Yeah, I mean the first 2 prequels, not good.
Yeah, they're not very good.
This is the thing. I grew up with the prequels. Like I was your age when the prequels came out. I remember all the disappointment and all the just tearing apart of the ridiculous story. And when I rewatched them, they just are just. I have a guilty pleasure for episode 1 because I was 8 when I watched it, and it was the first Star Wars film I ever saw. Surprisingly, I know. But even then, when I was a kid, I knew episode 2 was awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And episode 3 is also not as good as people said at the time.
I love episode 3.
Yeah, so do I.
I love episode 3.
I like the prequels more than the sequels. And
I still prefer the sequels to the prequels.
I like them more, but I can still say that the first 2 movies are terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Just the ending of the first one, makes up for it.
But we're not talking about the prequels. We were talking about episode 8 and why we didn't like it, why we did like it. So now I feel like everyone was excited for this movie because of one main reason, and that's Luke Skywalker, right? I was excited. Ish, you must have been excited. Kyle,
Definitely.
you also must have been excited.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm gonna say it already, and I think they ruined Luke Skywalker in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not the first person who has said that.
Yeah. Now, the big reason is because Return of the Jedi Luke and this Luke are much more different, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see that, like, Return of the Jedi, you have this hero who is full of hope and all of this stuff. But then in The Last Jedi, he's just, I don't care about this anymore. I'm just going to stop.
Yeah, it's like a huge change because, I've said this on this channel before. Luke Skywalker means a lot to me, right? He's my favorite Jedi. And seeing him from Return of the Jedi and how he was so courageous and all this, to when he's in The Last Jedi where he's just kind of this hermit and doesn't really want to do anything. I don't know.
Al, what's your opinion on the thing about ruining Luke Skywalker?
I disagree with it entirely. I mean, what you guys just said about how this great Jedi leader has retreated to a distant planet and is now hiding out doing nothing. You also just described Yoda.
Yeah.
You didn't have a problem with Yoda in episode 5, did you? Why would this great Jedi master run away and do nothing if he was so powerful that he could apparently fight Count Dooku and Darth Sidious in single combat, despite being a Muppet? But anyway, that's not the point. The thing with Luke Skywalker is, if you look back at the original trilogy, there's always been a dark side to him. There was always the chance that he would fail because he was constantly nearly failing. Like, he was always impulsive, always running on his emotions. Like, he was not this. It's not like he was a saint or anything. We liked him a lot because he was a flawed human being. Well, least I think he was a human being. Technically, he's from a galaxy far, far away. But anyway, the point is, he always had these flaws, and the whole reason Return of the Jedi worked so well for me, the climax of it anyway, is because there was a distinct chance that Luke could fail, that he might turn to the dark side because, his father and, the Emperor was goading him and manipulating him, all of that. Like, if there was never a doubt that he would turn dark or he would make mistakes, we wouldn't have gotten so invested in the original trilogy in the first place. And when he's faced with failure in the original trilogy, he doesn't take it well. Why should he take it well when he makes the biggest mistake of his life? Like, I totally buy the story they gave Luke. Like, I believe that he would be driven to an impulsive decision to try and stop the next Darth Vader. And then he would then come to his senses and realize what he's doing. We can talk about spoilers, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when we get his side of the story, when it turns out he was about to kill, Kylo or Ben, I guess. He was about to kill young Ben, but then he, stops himself and goes, "Wait, what are you doing?" Like, that feels on brand for Luke. Luke has always been an impulsive and emotional person. Just because you defeat Emperor Sidious doesn't mean you're going to change your character on a dime. You're never going to make mistakes again for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, that is true. But
and then, of course, when it all blows up in his face and all his pupils are dead, of course he's going to take that badly.
Yeah, that is true. Luke,
so
right?
I don't think they ruined Luke Skywalker. I think they took him in an interesting direction that we haven't seen before, and it was a genuine. So, I remember the moment when I was watching in the cinema, and there was that, at the end of at the end of movie 7, Force Awakens, that whole dramatic camera panning around the whole she's giving his lightsaber back. And then when in episode 8, when he takes the lightsaber, just tosses it over his shoulder, the audience burst out laughing, and so did I, because it was just perfect. What a great way to subvert just our expectations in that regard. And just taking us on this road into Luke as a failure rather than Luke as the hero of the,
I don't know. I think it's just very different.
It was hard to, see. It was just, I'm like, okay, why? Also, the lightsaber throw, I didn't find it very funny. I was like,
that's such a legendary lightsaber, and you
just throw it.
Yeah.
A lightsaber which killed dozens of children.
Oh,
it's
Rey doesn't know what she did with that. What happened with it?
No, but I mean, we know.
We know what happened with it. Oh god,
that lightsaber has been.
So how high of a pedestal are you going to put that lightsaber on?
Oh, still very high. It killed dozens of children, but it was used by 3 primary Force users, very big Force.
And it was used by who? It's the center of Star Wars. I mean, the story is about Anakin, right?
They shouldn't have broke it. I don't know why they broke it in this movie.
Yeah, I still kind of don't understand that, right?
Yeah, because remember, in after the throne room fight, which is awesome, by the way, that's my favorite part of the entire movie. Kylo,
you're talking about movie 8 now.
Yeah, we're talking about 8.
Sorry, we were kind of jumping around.
Oh yeah. So Kylo and Rey are force pulling the Skywalker saber, and then it just breaks.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that, but then they just end up fixing it in the next one.
No explanation.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to speak on the 9th film, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Canto Bight wasn't needed in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That whole code breaker thing was it was very predictable.
Yeah.
It was predictable that he would betray them?
To turn to to be with the Empire? Yeah. I saw that coming.
I mean, did you think the same of Lando?
No, I did not think the same with Lando, because
Lando is
Lando and Han were friends before. That's why you wouldn't think the thing with Lando. But this is a stranger they've never met, right? So obviously,
Well, I mean, I also kind of figured he would
yeah,
not be the most trustworthy guy. What I did expect, but they did not do, was that they would do another retread of Lando, in the sense that he would then secretly help them again. Like
yeah.
I was waiting for just like oh god, now he's gonna have to go through his arc and do something nice for them, and then that's gonna. But no, that he's just betrayed them and walked away because he's a mercenary.
Yeah.
But on the subject of Canto Bight, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like it was my favorite part of the movie, but it did do something which the previous Star Wars movies had not really done to the same extent. Not quite, anyway. At least that's how it felt to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the ambiguity. In the sense that just because you're not on the side of the Empire doesn't mean you're a good guy either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really liked the moment where, what was his name again? I only know him by the actor's name, Benicio del Toro.
Oh, I don't remember the character's name, but yeah.
I don't think he had a name, actually. But the point is, I did like the scene where he points out that the same people selling weapons to the Resistance are also selling weapons to the First Order. Like that's never that kind of mercenary attitude is never in. It's not really in the original trilogy. Like that kind of shady gray area. They never really focus on that, and the fact that they brought it up in this film helped color the world a little more to me.
Yeah, that is pretty true. They did touch on that, right? But I can say they also, had a lot of missed opportunities in this movie, where they didn't quite touch on a lot of stuff because, characters, Rose.
I mean, Rose was not. See, you had a Rose for half of this movie, right? She was in almost all of it, and then they just do nothing with her after that.
I disagree. Oh wait, after the movie, you mean?
After the movie, they do nothing with Rose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't speak on what they did in the ninth film. I can't speak on that.
Yeah.
I can only talk about this film, and I would say they did a really decent job with giving her stuff to do, and they gave her an arc, which made sense to me. That's actually, if I may, that's actually my favorite thing about the film overall. The script. Just, I don't know if it was just me, but when I was watching the film in the cinema, I just could not help noticing all the great little touches in the story that a screenwriter would that Rian Johnson clearly put his work into it. And each main character has their own consistent arc. Every main character in the story starts somewhere and ends somewhere different, whatever the case may be. Now you can make an argument as to how good of an arc each of the arcs are, and that's all up for debate, of course. Yeah. But the fact that each character still made that journey for themselves, I was really impressed by that. Like, for example, Rose, if we're going to talk about Rose, you get how she starts out the film.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys remember, right?
Yeah. Her sister is one of the bomber squad.
Yeah.
The bomber squad.
Her sister's died a hero.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very kind of even Leia is talking about what a pointless sacrifice it was in the long run.
Yeah, because
well, the first time we see Rose
wasn't needed.
First time we see her, she's crying over her dead sister who died a hero, and she puts her up on that pedestal about dying for the cause, which is it puts her in a very conflicted position because she thinks dying for the Resistance cause is the ultimate thing. Clearly, she holds them up as heroes, but at the same time, she also misses her sister.
Yeah.
So then you get that conflict once again when she's confronted with the fact that Finn, someone else she holds up as a great hero alongside her sister, is trying to run away.
Yeah.
And so, and that also ties in with Finn's arc, because like Finn, he starts the movie trying to flee the First Order, trying to run away, and he ends the movie charging headlong to make a great sacrifice towards the First Order.
Yeah,
I really like that. I really like that kind of like that change in perspective. Like he suddenly is now doing the. Anyway, that's not really the focus should be for now. What I was going to say was Rose, meanwhile, she goes from mourning her sister, who's also a hero, and holding them up in prestige. She goes from that to saving Finn from dying pointlessly.
Yeah.
She saves someone she loves from dying pointlessly for a cause because I can't remember the exact quote. Save it. I think it's about saving that which we love. And I've heard so many people complain about that moment, but it did kind of remind me of a movie I've watched in the past. Have you guys ever heard of Last Night?
No, I've never
no, I haven't.
Film.
So it's this indie Canadian film, and it's about the last day on Earth. And I don't want to, I can't really talk about it without spoiling it, but let's just say two characters have a decision that they're going to make when the world is about to end, and they, instead of doing it, they kiss. They give in to their humanity and just reach out for something good. Even if it means because it's not going to save them. They're not going to survive by kissing each other.
Yeah.
But it's just this last human thing they can do before the end, and that's important to them. It was a really powerful moment in that film, and I got the same vibe when I watched it in Last Jedi. Just like, you're not always going to win. They don't know if they're going to win at the end, but Rose wanted to try and save someone that she loved, even if it was for just one last moment. And I thought that was pretty profound.
Now, the reason, because to me, Rose is, because at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh, her sister just died. This is going to be deep, right? But the things on Canto Bight, for me, the thing that made Rose so pointless in The Last Jedi is because of the Canto Bight sequence. The Canto Bight sequence.
Go ahead.
Oh, the Canto Bight sequence is pretty it's not needed, because half of it is just them looking for a code breaker, and then they find the code breaker, and they find out the code breaker is with the First Order. Done, right? There's literally everything you have. It was very dragged out to me, because also they had this illegal parking thing, which was kind of stupid, because those guys kept hunting after them, and they were caught, and then they were talking in that jail cell for like 10 minutes or something. It was weird. I found it very.
Well, the thing with the Canto Bight sequence and the failed attempt to get a code breaker and all that, that's part of Poe's arc.
How?
I mean, he's the one that sent them on that mission, right?
He is.
Why did he do it?
Because he wants to show Holdo how it's done or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's subverting he's going against the plan that Leia set up with Holdo.
I can't stand Holdo, man.
Well, think of it this way: Leia put her trust in Holdo, and she told Poe to his face, I don't trust you because you're reckless and a hothead. And what does he do? He recklessly makes a hot-headed plan, a secret plan, sending Finn and Rose off to do something that didn't have to be done. And it ultimately does more damage than it hurts, more than helps. It's basically punishing the renegade. How often do you see that in the film?
Not very.
Yeah. I was impressed that they did that. Like, whenever you have someone like, say, I mean, like with Luke or with Han Solo, they're the ones who are going to break the rules, right? I mean, wasn't there that scene in where Luke basically purposefully puts away the aiming technology and just trusts in the Force? I mean, yes, obviously that was the right call to make, but the point is that the coding of that scene is that the lone hero will make the right decision regardless of what his superiors are saying, you know? That's constantly something that's being pushed in the Star Wars films, like with Anakin going off to save Obi-Wan against orders, Padme going off to save him against orders, Qui-Gon Jinn taking Anakin in as his apprentice against orders. All that way. Like, that's constantly, and you could spread it out to Wolverine and the X-Men and other stories. Whereas here, Poe is this reckless leader, or he thinks he's a leader, and he's actively undermining the resistance because he thinks that, you know, his superiors are wrong. I mean, maybe they are wrong, but there's consequences for acting against orders.
Well, I mean,
it was an interesting, like, subversion, sort of, which is something
I didn't like what they did with Poe. I don't think Ish did either.
They said,
how come?
Like Poe to be this, you know, in The Force Awakens, he was great, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed every aspect of The Force Awakens, almost every aspect.
I disagree.
Just
Poe was a non-entity in Force Awakens. He did nothing.
They kind of just let him go, right? For like 50 minutes of the movie. He just kind of died, right? But then he just randomly comes back. And I was happy to see him, right? I was in the theater. I was like, wow, he didn't die. There's no explanation and how he survived. But I think he said something like, "Oh, I got
there was
caught."
he woke up in some next night thing.
I don't know what he says. I forgot, but there's really no explanation to that. But he was great, right? And in this movie, he's kind of just being pushed down by Holdo, and she's like, "Okay, I'm not gonna let you do anything. You know, I'm in charge here. Leia put me in charge." And you know, getting to Leia, what was that worst thing?
Oh yeah, the Superman Leia thing, where she flies. That was
kind of confusing.
I don't think that's how the Force works, but okay.
I mean, how does the Force work?
I mean,
have they ever actually explained it?
No.
No, they haven't.
But I've never seen someone fly like that in Star Wars.
I don't even.
You never saw anybody shoot electricity before the Emperor did.
We saw Count Dooku do that.
No, what I'm talking. Oh, right. You saw the. I mean, I'm talking about like when the first Star Wars.
Yeah, you didn't see anyone shoot electricity.
No.
Yeah. But overall, I just think that was not needed. I mean, you can see Ben, right? When he was flying his ship and he couldn't pull the trigger. He couldn't do it. He didn't want to blow up his mother, right?
He knew his mistake that he made in The Force Awakens, which was killing his father.
Yeah, right. And we understand that. I mean, it's Kylo Ren. I love Kylo Ren. Ben, you know, he has such potential, right? But
did you like him in Last Jedi?
Yeah, I did. I did like him in this movie, actually.
I didn't, but I don't like Kylo Ren as a villain. It's just
I think Kylo gave us that intensity, you know? He's always been there to do that. In The Force Awakens, he was there. He was here, and in episode 9, he was there as well. Pretty much he's giving us this entity, or you know, Sith, to be scared of, right? So I think
I agree. I mean, I think he's a very complex character, very interesting antagonist. I really liked Kylo Ren in Last Jedi too, because he also gets one of those arcs where he starts out smashing his helmet pieces because I mean there's this toxic relationship he has with Snoke, right?
Yeah.
He starts out hating himself because he lives and dies by Snoke's approval or disapproval. And then his big arc is deciding, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, and Kills
which
him.
so he kills Snoke instead, and he becomes his own person.
Yeah.
Which was a big step to make. He's basically escaping an abusive relationship in a way.
The killing Snoke thing, I did not like that at all. It
They
was
never explored this, in the movies, but in comic books and stuff. Like Snoke was, obviously his master, right? But he took him to this planet, Snoke's home planet, and he trained him with all these different things. Then he actually trained him how to do a little bit of like force, I guess you could say kind of what Leia did, right? But he's like kind of flying with the force. But we never got to really see any of that in the movies. So I think that that's another part of what went wrong is that they could have explained a lot more, which would make a lot more sense to the story, right? Because then we would actually have some explanation on why Leia was able to, do that when we've never seen that in any of the previous Star Wars movies or anywhere else. Um,
That's true.
yeah, I think if
I
they,
think there is a bit of there is under explanations
Yeah.
in this, but you could say that about all of them.
you could say
really.
that about almost all of them, yeah.
but I think
Well,
another thing, what I did like about this movie is how they explored a lot of the past, kind of, right?
Yeah, that was very well done, I
Yeah,
think.
because they showed
Even though I
how
may not have agreed with it, it was well done.
Luke's temple, all it's burning, and you can see Ben. There's a lot of cool things about this movie, but there's a lot of things where they messed up, and they could have delivered a lot more, is what I think.
what do you think of the Yoda scene?
Oh, the Yoda scene was great, actually.
That was cool, I guess, but the whole like thing behind it was the Jedi text, right?
Yeah,
And the Jedi text thing was like, oh, he's gonna burn them, but then he doesn't want them to burn.
Well, again, that's Luke, right? He makes impulsive decisions.
Yeah.
Like he was ready to storm out. Like in episode 5, he was ready to storm out of Yoda's hut when he didn't realize who Yoda was.
Yeah.
And then he was just constantly going, and then like he's talking all about begging Yoda to train him, and then as soon as Leia's in trouble, he's out of there.
Yeah.
He's constantly making these impulsive decisions. That's hence why it makes sense to me that he would try to burn down the temple in a fit, and then just hesitate at the last minute and just go, "Wait, what am I doing?" And then Yoda just goes, "All right, well then if you're not going to do it, then I'll do it."
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think it was just really cool to see Master Yoda again,
And there's the puppet form.
Yeah, it was a puppet. It wasn't even the other CGI.
Now, the one thing that really I don't enjoy about this movie is Finn. For me, in The Force Awakens, Finn's arc was completed in about 10 minutes. Right? Former stormtrooper who can't kill anyone, flees the First Order, helps someone also flee. Done. I think that's perfect.
They set him up to be this, Jedi, right?
And it was just,
and they just kind of
they
took it all down.
Yeah, because
Wow.
Nothing really
You have to
happens.
blame JJ for that too.
Yeah, JJ.
I don't know. I just I was so excited because it's such a cool concept, right?
Yeah.
A stormtrooper becoming a Jedi, right? That's already such a cool concept, but they just didn't follow through with it, and they just kind of just let it die, right?
Yeah.
And they just made Rey, this random scavenger, such a powerful Jedi, and in a short amount of time.
Yeah, the power thing is it's not explained at all. Like,
yeah, she's
randomly
very overpowered.
She can just beat someone who is like 10 years plus with, training, and she can just beat him in one 10-minute battle.
I think that goes against everything we know of, the
Training,
Force
yeah.
and how training works, just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. And
Of course, that is all in the 7th film, though.
I mean, it follows through to this.
It follows through to this movie. It does, but she's getting her Jedi training. But she's already that scene where she's training with the Rock with the lightsaber. You can't be that good with the lightsaber like right away because
Did they say how long she was there for? I don't think we ever established how long she was with Luke.
Well, I'm only saying this because I know that The Last Jedi takes place right after The Force Awakens. Because
Yeah.
right.
But they're in a much different position. Like the Resistance is suddenly like backed up into a corner. They weren't necessarily backed up into a corner at the end of the 7th, were they?
No, they were not. They blew up Starkiller Base.
So time has to have gone by.
Sometime
time might have gone by, but
I still think they should have explained it. Well, they did in episode 9, but it was a cop out. So
it's still back to the Force Awakens. I know, but still, like she's so overpowered. Like I mean, Ben has so many more years of training and power, right? You would think, but he's beaten by this girl who never held a lightsaber before.
I mean, there's things about Rey that are definitely flawed, but I will say she has a decent enough arc in episode 8.
I mean, yeah,
like, she has an arc that makes sense for her character because she starts out looking for the legendary Jedi Luke to bring him back, and instead she decides to take up the mantle of legendary Jedi hero herself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
In that regard, the arc made some kind of sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, whether her powers make sense, I don't know. Like, to be fair, the Jedi powers never really made sense when it came to, Luke Skywalker. How much training did he get?
More than Rey.
Did he?
Yeah, he trained with Yoda.
When he defeated Darth Vader, how much training had he gotten?
In episode 5 or episode 6?
6. He didn't defeat Vader.
No, he didn't defeat Vader in 5. Vader won,
which
in 5.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
he abandoned his training.
Yeah.
But it's not like, yes, time had passed between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And he absolutely has more mastery over the Force when we see it again.
But
6, how much time could have gone by?
I think it was about a year. I think that's the time difference. May not have been a year, but I will have to look at it.
You can also say with his green lightsaber, right? Green lightsaber is
Jedi Master.
Used, by I think he was a knight in this movie. Yeah.
He was a Jedi Knight.
I've heard colors don't actually define whether you're a master or not. I'm pretty sure
not that. It's just green lightsaber Force users are usually more like into the Force, I guess, because you can see Qui-Gon, right? He had a green lightsaber, and he was always they're more like invested into the Force than a blue lightsaber user would be. And that's,
and yet the strongest Jedi ever was a blue lightsaber user.
Yeah, that is true. It's just the different colors you have define who you are.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi is a year after Empire Strikes Back, which is so he could have done a lot in a year, right?
Yeah.
But like the main difference between Luke and Rey with training is that Luke definitely had way more than Rey did. Like it's been shown. And then if you look at time, that's also another aspect. It's like, a year versus 10 days.
Was it 10 days?
I'm just saying, I don't know what it is between.
It couldn't have been long. It couldn't have been that long anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
The movie Last Jedi picks up pretty much right after the Force Awakens.
Ending of the Force Awakens.
The ending, starts off.
It has that little, ship thing that they do, and then it goes to Octu Island. Yeah. Right, so it can't be that long.
Yeah.
Unless she stood there for a year or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's then again kind of unexplained.
Yeah.
I did like what they did with Luke at the end though too. The twist. The big twist.
The Force projection, that was pretty cool.
Yes. That was we'd never seen that before either.
No.
That is true.
We'd never seen anybody make a projection with the Force.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
It was cool.
That proves pretty much that he's very strong with the Force, after closing himself off for so many years from the Force, and he's just becoming this hermit, that he can still get that power to
And that
I
force
think they
projecting.
I think they established though that he never actually closed himself, or did no? Yeah, that's true. They did. He did close himself off in the force, right?
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
You're right.
And then that's what killed him, right? The force projection is what killed him.
he just put up
That
all
part
this
wasn't super
power.
clear.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool, he's not actually there, dead.
Yeah, I was actually really sad to see Luke go.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like,
think they should have left him for the last one.
yeah, I think that
I
would,
mean, they couldn't have known how badly things would turn out in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah, obviously.
9 was supposed to be Leia's movie.
9 was supposed to be Leia's movie.
I know.
And
Yeah.
that's why I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
Right. But like the thing with 8 and 9 is that 9 does like completely disregards that 8 ever happened. Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what they do. Now,
And we learn a lot more about Force Ghosts actually in 9. As you can see, it's kind of spoilers. I don't know if I want to say this, right? But Luke, Force
yeah,
Ghost, and he's a lot more powerful, I guess you could say.
he's like he's back to where he was. Like
Pretty much.
he's
Yeah.
like Return of the Jedi Luke in that.
Yeah.
Because he's literally telling Rey, "Why are you throwing this lightsaber in fire?" He literally said, "A Jedi's weapon deserves more respect." So he's back to where he was as a
pretty
Force
much.
ghost.
Again, I can't speak for episode 9. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw the trailer and I saw that they were undoing everything that 8 did, and I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And
It's
plus, bringing the Emperor back out of the wings
That
like,
ruins Anakin. That ruins Anakin.
it
yeah.
ruins everything in the original trilogy, in a sense. Like, just like all of Luke's arc, all of Darth Vader's arc, it's completely undone by bringing the Emperor back and saying, "Oh yeah, he didn't die."
He cloned himself. That's what they said.
Yeah.
I just
And
I
then that
can't.
gives you that like
I haven't seen
why
9, so I can't really speak to what 9 did.
So that's why I think they shouldn't have killed Snoke in this,
Yeah.
because Snoke was unexplained. Really, we didn't know a lot about him from 7 and 8. And then if he was the main villain is 9, and then Kylo turns to the light side, he turns back to fight Snoke, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Devansh, you're gonna be rubbing your forehead in a second, because I actually liked the fact that they killed off Snoke. I was relieved. I was really. I remember feeling so relieved when I was sitting in the cinema watching like that lightsaber cut him in half. I was thinking, yes, just another like. Well, because like I was again like I didn't like Snoke. Like you said, Snoke is underexplained. He's underdeveloped. He's not interesting. Not that interesting, except for that weird relationship he has with Kylo. That's the only thing he's got going for him, and even that's not really like that has been done better before.
Yeah.
And so I was just not looking forward to the idea of having to sit with Snoke, which, for the record, was a J.J. Abrams creation. He's basically just the Emperor Light. And he had to be carried over into 8, which, for the record, isn't that interesting that Rian Johnson at least acknowledged what happened in 7?
Yeah.
As opposed to what 9 did to 8?
Well, 9 acknowledged the Battle of Crate, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just going to say, just for me, watching that was like, yes, Emperor Light is gone. That means Kylo gets all the focus.
Yeah.
Next movie. Like, he's going to get to be the new, like, he's going to be the guy. And whatever they decide to do with him, who knows? But it's going to be like Snoke's not going to be there to, slow things down. It was just, I don't know. I really respected a lot of Ryan's subversions into the story. They were genuinely unexpected in some cases, and they were also welcome just because, like, they're not just doing episode 5 and 6 all over again,
I mean, I think keeping Snoke would have been a better decision, just because it would have, made Ben's character arc a lot better. I mean, he did kill him here, but that kind of leaves it so what did he do in the next movie? Like, what are they gonna do? But they just, bring back the Emperor, which was not really
smart decision.
smart. Yeah.
Wasn't very.
I think keeping Snoke as that mystery, right? That's what they did in the first movie, The Force Awakens. They kind of kept him as this mystery. We don't know what he is, but in the next one, he's just dead.
I'll admit, I did like the idea of him being a giant up until they revealed that no, he's not a giant.
Yeah.
that would have been interesting.
Was he like a foreshadow or something? Was he just like a projection in the
It
seventh?
was a projection turned huge. Yeah,
okay.
It was a huge fake out. No pun intended, of course.
Well,
so more the thing. So the thing with Rey and Kylo's, their bond, I guess, right? In this one, where they keep connecting.
Yeah.
Force.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't find that very it kept taking over the movie at points, right?
I agree. It was a weak part.
It wasn't very well done. And then like that one part where they're touching, and then Luke breaks that cave thing, and I'm like, how does he see this? How is he seeing it?
They underexplained it, and they attributed it to Snoke, which once again, like Emperor Light, just kill him off and be done with it. Like, this is ridiculous.
But then they connect after Snoke is dead. So when I first saw the movie, I'm like, Snoke's still alive. He's not dead. He's like the different thing.
Do they connect after? Are you talking about the 9th movie?
I'm talking about the 8th. After Snoke dies, they connect. They have a little connection, right?
Maybe they. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that I was really relieved what Rian Johnson did with Rey's. I'll say this for Rey. I'm glad they did not make her Obi-Wan's daughter.
Oh, I wanted Rey.
No, I really liked the fact that, like, no, they're just people who abandoned a kid. Like, they're horrible people who deserted their child. Like, not everyone has to be connected to everyone else in the story,
Well,
I mean, they explain that
in 9, we figure out who she is, but
I've heard that explanation, and it's yet another reason why I'm not going to watch 9, because that sounds utterly ridiculous.
It's just, see, the thing with 8 and 9 is that, I don't know, some of the things in 8 should have been converted to 9. They shouldn't have just, blew it out the water, right?
Yeah.
Right? I would have preferred we got Rey Nobody than Rey Palpatine. Spoilers.
I agree.
Right?
Like, Rey Nobody makes, at least it's different.
And then, so if you're not going to watch 9, then I'll talk about another thing. If she's Rey Nobody, and then at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, she says Rey Skywalker, right? She takes the mantle. That it would have been more
like, I don't know.
Why does she call herself Rey Skywalker?
Because at the end of episode 9, Leia and Luke Force Ghost are smiling at her, so it seems like they urge her to take the name. So then she tells this old lady who asks who she is, Rey Skywalker, and then that's the end of the movie. But she's already Rey Palpatine, so I feel like you should have just
embraced who you are. But
that would have been. Imagine the looks on Luke and Leia's faces when she says Rey Palpatine.
Yeah, would have been funny. But like if they kept her as a nobody and then she said Rey Skywalker, that would have had more impact, right? Obviously.
That is true. They could have just never, done this Palpatine nonsense, right?
You could have just been a nobody, right?
Maybe at the end of the movie, if she said Skywalker, it would mean a lot more than just, being a Palpatine and saying the name, because that's kind of, switching sides. And I mean, I wouldn't even have been so mad if she said that, because Luke and Leia were there for her, right? But
and apparently Luke and Leia knew that she was a Palpatine. They just didn't tell her. Like,
I don't know.
Oh boy. So what I told you is true from a certain point of view.
It's not very. The thing with 8 is that the reason I really don't like it is because of Luke, right? Mark Hamill gave the performance of his life, or one of the best performances I've ever seen from him in this movie, right? He did fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just Rian Johnson didn't deliver with Luke. I don't think
that's true. I think Rian Johnson clearly knows the story. He clearly knew how Star Wars works. he just didn't give the movie the like, for like, no offense to you guys, but I've heard some people like online, and like I've read some people's complaints, and it just sounds like just the most petty ranting. And like I'm talking about the same kind of people who harassed Rose's actress.
Oh, I don't
like those kinds of people. Like,
they shouldn't have done that. It was utterly. They made Daisy Ridley delete social media after Force Awakens, stuff like that.
Again,
those are toxic fans.
Yeah.
So you just, I don't know. I don't mean to equate them with other people who were offended by the story, but it just, like, it's not that far from what Luke was capable of doing in the original trilogy. It's just like, I mean, I said that earlier, but
yeah,
it was
just a weird thing to see, really. Like, maybe ruining Luke Skywalker is a little far-fetched, but like saying that what they did with him wasn't very well done. There's like,
it's just very different, I think.
It was very hard to see, which I've
and
always
it's
said.
just, there's a lot of
I
people.
I liked the different angle of it. Sorry to interrupt, but I did like that. I did like that, the difference, sort of the there was a different side of him, in the sense that we saw him at his lowest.
Yeah.
We've never truly seen Luke fall that far before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably when he lost his hand and found out that the guy who cut it off is his dad. So
I mean, yeah, that's pretty sad.
I liked the idea of Luke as a failed mentor, though, a failed teacher. It's a great new challenge for the character. But
it's
of course,
a fair point. But just,
I mean, not everybody's going to agree with it. Of course.
Yeah,
I learned that the hard way.
We've got a lot of different opinions and views on this movie, and that's fine.
It's this. See, this was the movie that divided the fan base. It was like, oh, I love it. Oh, I hate it. Like stuff like that. It was literally that, and that's what Star Wars has been for the past, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. No, I think that hasn't Star Wars been dividing fans for much longer than that?
Well, ever since this movie came out, so about like 3
Oh,
years.
Sorry.
I
see. You're right. Wow, it has been 4 years, hasn't it?
Jeez. It's been a while.
Has been.
It was 5 years last year, 2020. It was 5 years since Force Awakens. So
time flies.
Yeah, it does. But I remember seeing this movie in the theater, and I was just like, this is good. I saw it a second time. No. I figured out what was the problem with it, and the main problem was Luke Skywalker and character, and Finn and Rose, right? Those were the 3 main problems for me. I couldn't stand the whole casino thing, as I've already said, and then I feel like they dragged it out. Like, it's like, oh, it was so long. This movie is the longest Star Wars movie, right? It's way too long. With like,
how long was it again?
2 hours 33 minutes.
Right? Still short of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, which is something I still have to watch.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Neither have I, but I've watched a little bit of it. I've watched a little bit of the.
If you guys ever watch it, I would love to hear your opinions on it.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will do a ranking.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I do like the Battle of Crate. It's cool, but like, there's no lightsaber fights in this movie. No lightsabers actually touch. They don't touch.
Wow.
But that's not really a big thing, really. They had that throne room fight, which was
that wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
That's my favorite part of the movie as well.
Yeah, but the prequel,
that's favorite part of the movie.
It's also
the Praetorian Guard fight.
Yeah, it was. It was cool.
I really thought that Kylo and Rey were actually gonna, unite and just, cause this. We've seen this bond with them throughout the movie, and they finally unite, and Kylo kills Snoke, and I was like, okay, where is this going now, right?
Join me. That's where he goes.
But then she says no, and
quite the same though. It's like he is going to become. It's not like he's continuing Snoke's leadership. He's going to be his own leader.
Yeah, that's what they do. They call him the Supreme Leader in episode
Supreme
9.
Leader Kylo Ren. Yeah.
That's what he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking forward to that once upon a time.
Well, overall, what do you guys feel about this movie? What's your rating?
How are we rating it?
Out
we
of
do it
10.
out of 10. So
Okay.
I will give this movie a 5 out of 10. I think it could have been so much better. I only give it a 5 because of, the action, the performance by Mark Hamill, and then, that's about it. But those
Yeah,
are
the
big
performances
points.
and the overall marketing and cinematography of this movie was actually really good,
Yeah.
right? Crate is really cool.
Crate
It's
is a cool planet.
really cool planet. And the performances by the actors were there, but
Mhm.
I don't think the storyline really, gave me
Yeah.
that excitement like the other movies.
Ish, what's your rating
What
out
would
of
you
10?
give it?
I'd give it a 4, maybe 5, right? I'm gonna put it really low because Luke means a lot to me, right? I really, really like that Return of the Jedi Luke, and it's just so different from what I like, and that's why I'm gonna give it really low ratings.
Kyle?
Well, for what it's worth, I get what you're saying about Return of the Jedi, Luke. I really like the end of Return of the Jedi where he fights Darth Vader. I think that's my favorite duel of the original trilogy. Like his duel with Darth Vader, where he drives him all the way to the end of the railing and whatnot. That was a very powerful scene, and it looked like he very well. Again, it looked very much like he could have gone to the dark side and killed him.
Yeah, that he used the dark
And I
side right
thought that,
there.
and I thought, for me, I thought Last Jedi tapped into that possibility of like, yeah, Luke's always gonna have that dark part of him too. He's always gonna, because even like, it doesn't matter how old a Jedi gets, there's always the risk that the Jedi could turn.
Yeah.
I liked that angle, but anyway, I mean, overall, Last Jedi, it is. When I first watched it in the cinema, I walked out just blown away by how great it was, and I was saying, "Oh, it's amazing! It's like the best written Star Wars film I've seen in years. It's so great. It's like every character has an arc that makes sense, and you've got all these great action scenes, and you've got this moral ambiguity, these subverted expectations." And coming down from that in the years since, I do acknowledge that it's not perfect at all. It's got flaws. You guys brought up a few good ones. But that said, I still liked the film a lot. I think it was very well written.
Mm-hmm.
It was well performed. I mean, I'm not fully sure what I would give it though. I would probably easily at least I'd say 7.5 or 8 at the very least. I'll go with that. 8.
8.
Okay. I can say that I understand your perspective now a lot more, and
it's good to talk to someone who enjoys the movie because everyone I've ever talked to doesn't like it.
Yeah. I counted on my hands the number of people I've met who love that movie, but
because we've talked about it before, me and you, but we haven't really gotten this deep into it, right?
That's true. We've ended up talking about it way longer than I think any of us planned.
Yeah, which is okay.
No, definitely. Fine. This was very nice.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for being here, Kyle. His Twitter and Facebook will be linked down in the description. Go check it out.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate it.
So Ish.
Thank you guys for watching, and this has been Skywalker Stories.